Hello students, now we are starting with a chapter 4, that is your introduction to C++. I hope you all must have heard about this name, okay? It is your incremental improvement, okay? It is the improved language of your C language. In the previous class, I'm sure you must have studied C language, right? So in this class, we will be studying about C++. Okay, it is a language, okay, in which we do coding. We all know that, right? It is a programming language, okay, and the programs written in this language can be executed at your C compiler as well, C++ compiler, okay, and you can create n number of softwares and applications with this C++ language, okay. C++ pronounced as C++ as it is, okay, is a general purpose programming language, okay. It is a very general language which is very commonly used. It supports object oriented programming, that is your OOPS concept, okay. We will be discussing about the OOPS concept in the later part of the chapter. Created by Barney Stroutstrup in 1983 at Bell's Lab, okay. It was developed in 1983, okay. C++ is a C language. C++ is an extension of C programming language, and the programs are written in C language can run in C++ compiler, okay. Basically it is an improved version of your C language, bacha, okay. And the programs which we write in C, okay, in C language can be executed on your C++ compiler. By learning C++, you can create applications that will run on a wide variety of hardware platforms such as your personal computer, okay. You can use C++ on your personal computer, running Windows, the Windows which we are using, Linux, Unix. Linux and Unix are the operating systems. Mac is also your operating system, OS X, etc. In C++, the ++ is a syntactic construct, okay, used in C, and C++ is intended as an incremental improvement of C++. It is basically a syntactic syntax is there which is represented with C, which shows that, which denotes that it is the incremented version of your C language, okay. Now we will be discussing about the features of your object oriented C++, okay. The language that supports object oriented programming features is also called your object oriented programming language. Whichever language, bacha, which follows your OOPS concept, okay, that is called your object oriented programming language. That is why we call C++ as your object oriented programming language. An example of a language that supports the object features is C++. The object oriented programming language supports all the features of normal programming language. It has got all the features, the features which are included in your normal languages. It has got everything. In addition to this, it also reinforces some important concepts. No, they don't just have the object concept, they have other concepts as well and terminologies as well, which has made it popular among the other methodologies, and that is why OOPS concept is much more popular and is used more if we compare it with the procedural pattern, okay, procedural language, procedural programming languages. The important features of your object oriented programming are, first is it divides the program into number of objects. Firstly, it divides the program, bacha, okay, and whenever you divide a task or a program into simpler forms, then it becomes easy. So it divides the program into the objects, number of objects. Object oriented programs are segmented into parts called your objects. It is easier to add data and functions when required, and when we divide it, it becomes very easy for us to add the data and your functions, okay, whatever functions we also want to include, we can easily include. It binds the data and functions into a single unit called a class. Okay, the program is also divided into your class, okay, which includes your data and the function. Okay, each class has got similar properties and the similar kind of data is added into that class. Object can communicate among themselves using functions, and objects will be communicating among themselves with the help of your functions. Okay, it gives more emphasis on data rather than function. And OOPS concept, it gives more importance, okay, to your data, that what kind of data is included in that program. Okay, what functionality they are performing, that is another thing, but what type of data is there, because the segmenting has to be done. So that is why they always emphasize on the data. It has the feature of memory management. Okay, your memory is also managed through this object oriented programming language. Okay, now we are moving further with your procedural programming versus your object oriented programming. I hope you must have studied about your procedural programming. Okay, procedural programming is whenever you are doing a programming in a certain sequence. That is your procedural programming. When you are following a traditional process, a sequential process, okay, that is your procedural programming. Okay, let's start with this. Procedural programming is a traditional programming which is written as a list of instructions. Okay, there is a list of instructions which are in sequence. Okay, it tells the computer step by step what to do. Okay, each and every instruction will be telling the computer what that computer has to do. The main program is divided into number of subprograms called as functions. It has also got subprograms, okay, which we can see also. Main function is there, then function 1 and function 2. It is divided into two parts, and then function 1 is again divided into two parts, function 3 and function 4, and function 2 is divided into two parts, that is your function 5 and function 6. Okay, here the main focus is on the function rather than the data, and in this what happens is it emphasizes on your function. Okay, in object oriented what was happening was it was emphasizing on the data, but in procedural it is emphasizing on your functions more than your data. Now your object oriented programming. Unlike procedural programming, object oriented programming gives more emphasis on data. I told you that, rather than functions. It divides the program into building blocks. Okay, they are your objects, we discussed that, and then builds the data and function around these objects. Firstly they'll be dividing it into objects, and then they will be creating your data and your functions related to them. The data of an object can be accessed by functions associated with that object. Okay, what we can do is we can access the data, okay, by the functions. Okay, with the help of functions, by calling the function we can access the data and the object. The objects interact with each other through functions. If you want the objects to interact between each other, then that is through your functions to perform a task. Okay, for example, we have divided the complete program in three objects, object 1, 2, 3, like object A, object B, object C. What is happening is data and function are included in that object, okay, and they are interacting with each other. Okay, now moving further with your basic concepts of your object oriented programming language. In this portion we will be discussing about the concepts which are used in object oriented programming language. The very first concept is your class. Okay, a class is a group of objects that share the common properties. I already told you. Okay, and in that class there will be objects of similar properties. Like if we have a class of fruits, okay, then the objects which will be included will be your orange, banana, apple. These are your fruits, okay, which has got relationships and behavior, which have got similar behavior, same relations with each other. That is your class. Classes are data types based on which objects are created. Okay, next is your object. Object is a basic unit of OOPS. It is a basic unit, like a single unit. It has a unique name. It will be having a unique name, a different name from your class and from your other data and everything. An object represents a particular instance of a class. Okay, it will be describing the instance of a class. Okay, it will be giving a look of a class. An object is an identifiable entity. You can easily identify it with some characteristics and behavior of its own. It will be having its own characteristics, okay, and its own behavior. Let us understand about class and object. A class called fruit has 3 characters, okay. 3 characters. What are those characters? Color, flavor and origin. The objects orange and mango have the same characteristics, but each has its own specific value. Okay, orange and mango will be having the same characteristics, but they will be having their specific values. Values means that they will be having their own color, they will be having their own origin, and they will be having their own flavor. Okay, so these are the specific values. Like class is your fruit, object is your orange, one object, and the other object is your mango. And the characteristics, color, flavor, origin. Okay, and color, if we put the value to it, orange color is of orange, color for mango is green or yellow, flavor orange is sour, flavor of your mango is sweet, origin India, and mango's origin is Pakistan. Okay, clear? Next is your abstraction. It refers to the act of representing essential features without including the background details, etc. That is, to represent the needed information in the program without presenting the details. For example, you're using a smartphone without knowing about its internal design. Basically, abstraction means that just showing whatever is needed. Okay, abstracting is just representing whatever is needed for the user and hiding all the backlog and all the backend coding and everything. Okay, like if you are using your smartphone, you don't know the internal coding of Android, right? Behind that, you just see the interface, right? Your GUI is visible, which helps you in just accessing whatever you want. Other than that, nothing is visible to you. Encapsulation, next your concept, the wrapping up of data and functions into a single unit called class is called your encapsulation. Whenever you are basically wrapping your data and function into a class, you're joining them, that is your encapsulation. See, you must have seen a capsule. It has some medicine in it, right? Capsule is a plastic covering and then there is a medicine inside that. Okay, so that is used to combine the medicine and everything. So here also encapsulation is what it is doing is, it is actually joining, it is actually bringing together your data and your function. Here the data is hidden and cannot be accessed directly. You need to call related functions through an object to read the data. It adds security to the data. Basically, your data is not easily accessible in encapsulation. What we do is, with the help of object, we actually call the function and get the task done. By this, the data is always secure. Next is inheritance. Inheritance means that, having the same properties in another class as well. Like, you are your parents' children, right? So you will be inheriting certain similar qualities of your parents, right? So the process by which object of one class acquire the properties of another class is called your inheritance. When one class is having the qualities of another class, okay, then that is your inheritance. For example, a class animal may be extended to carnivore and herbivore. That is, both carnivores and herbivores acquire the properties of animal class. Both will be animal, but one are your carnivores and the other one is your herbivores. Next is polymorphism. Polymorphism means having multiple forms, okay, more than one forms. That is your polymorphism. Polymorphism means different forms, that is the ability of a function to perform more than one task. In this, what happens is function can perform multiple tasks. Okay, this is a very important concept of OOPS, since this feature helps to reduce the code size. Obviously, if one function is able to perform 2 or 3 tasks, then the coding is reduced, right? For example, the function sum is used to add two numbers as well as combining two words. You can combine two words also, and you can add two numbers also. That is the function of your sum. Okay, now difference between your C++ and starting C++ editor we will be doing in our next session. Thank you, class. And if you find any problem, okay, then you can directly call me or message me. Thank you, children.